All right, we are live.
It's a live stream.
Yeah, you mind just like moving off to the side if you don't want to. If you don't want to be in frame.
I think about it.
Yeah, just don't when you lean in. There's Rocky. Alrighty. Give it a few minutes. Yeah, just started. All right, I think everything should be good. Looks like we're going. Stream is looking fine. Stream health is excellent. All right. Welcome back, everybody. It's been like a week or so. We are going to get into it shortly. Let everybody get on in here. We got a bunch to talk about tonight. Bunch to talk about. Whole lot. Who's this thing with the SPLC? That's like ridiculous. We're going to be talking about what you guys thought of my take on Joe Rogan at the White House and all that. So, we're talking about that, of course. And then we'll also be, of course, doing a war update because, you know, the ceasefire negotiations are going on. Ceasefire with Lebanon and Israel, that's falling apart real time. So we'll be covering that. We'll also be talking about Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner heading out to Pakistan. Again, this is, I think, the third time that they've been to Pakistan or something like that. JD Vance is apparently going to come into Pakistan. Sorry, if that pause. We didn't mean to say it like that. Sorry, Pakistan. He is going to come to Pakistan. Let me get my chat on screen going right. That pop-out chat. Get it on. What up, Drew? What is good? Let me get my chat on screen real quick. There we go. What is good? Yes. Yes, we are, in fact, back. And it's been a kind of a nice week. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's been kind of nice. People are like, where's Nick? Where's Nick? He's in Italy. If you guys haven't seen, I mean, he kind of faked his sickness. He was sick of people. He was sick of the Goyim. Put it like that. He was in Italy with Keith Woods, who you can tell from my books. I like Keith Woods quite a bit. So, you know, he'll be back on Monday. That's the update. You know, Monday the 27th. Thank you. I try to stay clean cut and neat and tidy for sure. So yeah, I've just been chilling the last week or so. Not too much. I've been gaming. I've been enjoying the video games. If you guys do that, I don't know if you guys are wagies. If you guys are wagies and you don't have time for video games, maybe that's not a thing you do anymore, but I've been enjoying myself for sure. What else? We've been getting some nicer weather here in Ontario. Much nicer. Sun's been out. I actually laid out in the sun the other day. After a winter, my pale skin, it feels good. So there's that. Not much else happening. I've really been chilling. I've really been big chilling. Chilling hard. So, but that doesn't mean I'm not working on ideas and different stuff. So May's looking like a pretty big month coming up. We're going to have a lot more content. We've taken a little bit of a breather here. Sometimes, you know, in the content world, it's kind of necessary sometimes to get more of a bird's eye perspective. So we'll be diving into a bunch of different stuff. Before we get started, you guys smash that like button, subscribe, do the whole thing, you know, support the channel. You know, we are out here. We are disseminating the, you know, the counter-Semite ideology, and we could go, the channel could be taken down really at any time. Really. So, you know, you guys support, you know, you guys are great. You're probably one of the best communities so far that I've seen, at least. So, we'll be talking about get into the 6G future. I mean, 5G is good enough for me, bro. You get internet in your pocket anyway. Everyone's addicted to the phone these days. You know, I was out and about in public, just walking around, and just man, people are glued to their phones. You know, it took me a long time to get 5G on my phone. I just didn't have data for many, many years. Didn't really care. And then I finally got it, and I'm like, I see why everyone's addicted. Before we get into it, I should probably hit record. Before we get into it, I feel like I kind of have to talk about, oh man, I was at the mall today. I'm not going to say which mall, but, you know, the Toronto area. And oh my God, dude, I was astounded by the sheer amount of white people, like white kids acting like they're black. I was largely like taken aback by this. I'm not going to lie. They were loud, and they were in jewelry stores there, and they were saying fam. They were blasting like the drill music on their JBL speakers in the mall, in the parking lot, different groups, tons of different kids, and they're all dressed like they're black. All these white kids, they're all doing their hair like they're black. I've never seen it this bad, you know, I feel like using the W word would almost like get you banned at this point. But it's getting insane, you know, with the amount of wiggerness, you know, the amount of wigs going around. So they're doing their hair like they're black. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, what is going on with white boys? They're saying fam every 2 words. You know, I walk around the way I look, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, I feel like a geezer. You know, you're blasting your crappy drill music, your trap music from your little JBL Chinese speaker. You're dressed like you're black. You're saying fam every other word. Talking like you're black. Man, that was rough. I'm not gonna lie. They were loud, and they were in jewelries. One of them, so I walked past a jewelry store, and one of these groups of kids, they were saying there's something like "Yo fam" by the end, and the accent, I can't even impersonate the accent. I'm not gonna do you a disservice of like how bad this Toronto accent even is. It's just horrible sounding. You know, they say fam every other word, and they go, you know, fam, I'm gonna have, like, at the end of this summer 2026, I'm gonna have this 5K chain. Like, as if this gold chain is gonna get you anywhere. I swear, it's like the lowest thing in your life possible to be like, I'm going to get jewelry to impress other people. I don't know what is like the mind virus, but you see white kids are starting to do that. Lots of pressure for the young to fit in. Yeah, and you know, they're hanging out with like a lot of black kids, a lot of brown kids. I see this at the mall, and it's just they're absorbing the culture. They're becoming like little, you know, drill people, and like, you know, like little rappers and stuff like that. And I hate that. And I feel like you know, we have to be a strong reaction against that. We have to be completely against like any of that wig wag, you know, to put it politely. Just, I don't like it. Yeah, it's super cringe. That's the one thing that actually like infuriates me the most. I mean, it's total race traitor kind of stuff to like act like another race, and I think other races find it completely cringe. Like, obviously, like Japanese people, they think it's really cringe when you're like a weeaboo or a taku, whatever the phrase is. You're like obsessed. You're like you know, you like fetishize like Japan and Japanese culture and Japanese people. Like, that's cringe. You're like fetishizing black people. It's like, what are you even fetishizing? Like, I like to fetishize my own race, dude, my own people, my own ancestors, my own culture. It's not even fetishizing. It's just, that's who we are. Music is the inspiration, not race. Yeah, you're right, I guess, in a way, but at a certain point it does become a bit racial, you know. It's hard to ignore, you know. And then they get involved in crime too. And that's really when it gets really disappointing, when you see like a lot of these, you know, young white kids, and they get involved in all sorts of crime and stuff. That's just very, very disheartening. You know, we had a what do you call it, smash and grab at the mall, a few months ago. I mean, they happen all the time, dude. But, you know, ran the mug shots, and yeah, it was like the usual suspects, right? And then there was a couple white kids with them. And I was just like, man, like, what is going on? This is like, if you guys have seen Clockwork Orange or A Clockwork Orange, you know, gangs of miscreant youth roaming the streets, causing violence. I mean, that's what that was all about. And it seems like we are living in a Clockwork Orange type of society where there's just gangs of youths going about, they're being loud and obnoxious. I was walking around and all the white people were looking at each other because they were being so loud and obnoxious. They're in like jewelry stores, you know, pretending that they're rappers or whatever. And I was walking around and all the white people are looking at each other. There's like white people looking at me. I'm looking at them. I'm like, what is going on in this mall? I'm sorry, this is like a jungle. I got to get out of here. I got my stuff. I got in and get it and got in and got out. Yeah, but you can't act like regular kids don't steal from high-end retail. Well, I mean, you don't if you're rich, if your parents have money. Like, I never stole from retail. Like, I was a regular kid, you know? I'm sure it happens, but, you know, this is like a smash and grab. This is like a violent, like, takeover. They come in with the hammers. They threaten the cashiers. They threaten all the people. And then they're like, give us all the jewelry. And they smash all the glass in the store. That's violent, right? So, whatever's going on with the youth, it's bad news bears, especially in Toronto. Toronto, the crime is just, yeah, completely out of control. So, but moving on. A blasphemous. I guess you meant to say blasphemer. What is your opinion about the future of USA? Do you think the USA is going to split? I don't think a civil war is going to happen in the United States anytime soon. I think if we're seeing a civil war, it's a political civil war behind, you know, it's out in the open, sometimes behind the scenes. We're not going to see a kinetic war between Americans. I don't think there's going to be any split of America. In fact, I think America is bound to get bigger. In all honesty, I think that expansionism, imperialism is in America's future. And a lot of that is insurance fraud. Yeah, you're maybe right. Yeah, I think some of the times. That's more common in other groups, though, like Indians and Jews. They do more insurance fraud for sure. With blacks, they're not like that sophisticated. You know, it's hard for them a lot of time to come up with like a plot like that. Like that's like for a lot of them, that's like a really above their pay grade. You know, but a lot of the Indians will go out and do a lot of fraud, and a lot of insurance fraud. So, yeah, that is definitely. But yeah, back to what you asked about America splitting up. No, I don't think America's going to split up. I don't think that's happening. I think this whole like civil war rhetoric, I think this is a planted thing. I think this is a psyop. So I wouldn't really worry too hard about this. All right, so. Hit record again. All right, so I wanted to get into a lot of people had an issue of my take about Joe Rogan. All right. So if you didn't catch last week, the live stream highlights. Yes, last week I talked about Joe Rogan going to the White House. And what was he doing there? Well, it's a good question you might ask. Joe Rogan has been highly critical of Donald Trump in the past year. So why did Joe Rogan go to the White House? Well, a lot of people said it was for veterans, right? It's for veterans. Why? Because we're going to legalize a psychedelic tree from Ghana, okay? That is going to help with the shell shock, the PTSD, okay? So this is the narrative that a lot of people are running with. And let me break it down for the people who didn't get it. All right, because I think I got like, what, a 65% dislike ratio on that video. Let me break it down for the people who didn't get it the first time. I'm about to double down, of course. Why do people get shell shock from war? Because war causes madness, because war is madness, right? If you get PTSD or shell shock from war, well, what should you maybe not do? send people to war, especially a meaningless war for Israel in the Middle East. So Joe, in all of his logic, right, says that supporting legalization or decriminalization, matter of fact, we have to make this absolutely clear, actually, because this matters, actually. There was no mass decriminalization of psychedelics. Like a lot of you in the comments section, a lot of the goyim, okay, a lot of the goyim in the comments section that I saw. This is no widespread decriminalization or legalization of psychedelics. This is a single tree from West Africa, mainly from Ghana, okay? And this is a targeted research effort for who? For Big Pharma, right? For Jewish-owned Big Pharma, all right? So Donald Trump, right, needing the support of the largest podcaster in the world, says, I'll throw you a bone. Joe, all right, needs a bone thrown to him, all right? Joe has made a bad reputation amongst liberals. Joe, at heart, identifies as a liberal, although he was disaffected and voted for Trump in 2024. Now, Joe says it was a mistake to vote for Trump. How does it make any sense to any of you, all right, that to combat shell shock, to combat PTSD, all right, by the way, we've lost more people, more veterans, more soldiers, unalived themselves than we actually lost in war, in actual combat. More of them died at home by taking themselves out of life than we actually lost in the real war with combat, all right? So think about that. So the man who Joe is standing in front of, or standing behind, I should say, Donald Trump is sending more troops to the Middle East as we speak, is bombing children, is giving these soldiers the war that they will get shell shock from. So what is the closed loop here? We're going to send these soldiers overseas to go fight for Israel's interests, to go fight more endless wars in the Middle East. All right. And then they go mad, right? Because war is madness. Right, it's unavoidable. Everyone has known this since the beginning of time. This is nothing new. So, what is the solution? Well, the solution isn't, in a lot of the Goyim's opinion, it seems like the solution isn't to end the unneeded wars, this preemptive war on Iran. It's not these wars where over 20 years, we lost more people, 30,000 plus? Took their unalive themselves, took their own lives stateside. That's not even counting the other allies. All right. And you're standing behind the guy that's going to send them to go kill and die, because that's what war is. You want to pretend that war is something else, that we just drop bombs from an office building. Like that's what war is. That's not what war is. All right. Trump is covering up the amount of wounded and the severity of the wounded. Let me tell you something. If you care about the veterans, you wouldn't be standing behind the guy that is actively covering up the massive amount of wounded and severely wounded, those who have lost limbs, those who have traumatic brain injuries, all right? Those who are on life support because they got hit by a ballistic missile from Iran, because they got hit by a Shahed drone. So, where is the logic here? I want to really, see where people's heads are at. Is there any critical thinking going on here? Are we saying that, we're going to put a Band-Aid on the solution by researching Ibogaine for Big Pharma, and so they can put it out in a pill form, right? A Trump pill to save you from the nightmares of war? I'm sorry, but war is a nightmare. You enter the realm of madness when you go to war. That's what it is. All right. And we're not looking for the actual solution. We're not looking for the underlying cause of our godless society. All right. This spiritual void. All right. What are we supposed to say? Well, we're just going to take the sacred magical tree from Ghana. All right. We're going to take this ibogaine, this magic tree from West Africa, and that's going to fix all the shell shock and the PTSD. Let me tell you something. That is nothing. That is a Band-Aid. And this is, both of these men are trying to save their reputation. And to me, it was more flabbergasting, over the past week. I took a little bit of time off, seeing the comments, seeing the people in self-flagellation going, but this is great for veterans. This is great for veterans. Donald Trump is covering up the massive amount of wounded. They have hundreds of people have traumatic brain injuries. There are dozens of people on life support because they got hit with ballistic missiles and drones. This is well known. This is an open secret in military circles. If you guys know anyone that's in the military, they all know about this. This is open. He's covering it up. So if you actually care, if you sit there, you go, I care about the veterans. I got my Black Rifle Coffee Company. I didn't vote for this, but I support the troops. So what? Where's the logic? Like I don't follow here. We're supposed to put our gripes with Donald Trump aside, and let's be real. Not only does Joe Rogan criticize Trump on the war, which I think is the most morally impactful thing. You have a voice, 20 plus million subscribers. Yeah, I think your opinion on war, actually, it might hold a little bit of weight. All right. So you get up there and you say Trump's handling of the Epstein files, right, was bad. Everyone remembers Joe getting up there and saying, this is horrible. This is evil. You're a PDF file protector. Joe said that on his podcast. What did Joe say about ICE? Right? He said they're like Gestapo. Right? Joe voted for this guy. All right? So think about this. Not only is Joe putting aside all of his criticisms of the war, of Donald Trump's support of Israel and Gaza, all right? He's criticized Donald Trump's war, his preemptive war on Iran, which is good. I'm glad that Joe's criticizing the war. Don't get me wrong. But to go and say, well, this thing is, this is really, a pressing issue. So much so, there's so many veterans with mental illness because they've gone mad from war, right? They've done horrible things where they saw their comrades get blown up in front of them, what have you, right? The solution to that is not let's end these wars that we're fighting on behalf of Israel. And let's be very clear. Did the silent generation, the generation that fought World War II and to a large extent World War I, although they were probably children at that time, which is crazy, they fought a war for a real reason. America was sneak attacked by Japan. Germany declared war. These were wars that had a clear aim and objective. Pretty much every war after World War II is just stupid, and probably we shouldn't have gotten into them. So I just don't see how people, where's the logical faculties? And we're going to get into another story, the SPLC, right? Our intro is going to be a little long, whatever. Where is the logic in any of this that we are going to combat PTSD in soldiers by giving them psychedelic drugs? Now, ibogaine is only to our most credible medical papers. It's only about 80% effective. What happens to the other 20%? Because that's really low, actually. That should be literally higher. I'm sorry, but that's not 80% effectiveness is not actually that impressive to me. I'm going to be real. If you think that a drug has real prospects, it should be closer to 90, 95. All right. Both Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan are full of shit, especially Carl Tucker. You keep calling him that. Especially Carl Tucker, who not only he was an educated man, but but know what kind of man was, and yet he still supported him. Oh yeah, you're talking about their support of Trump. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, they knew exactly what they were getting into. Only 20 people watching, copying Nick to make your own channel more popular. What a shame. I mean, feel how you feel. This is why I will never join. Yeah, don't join the military. I mean, listen, like, if you really want to serve America, then join the military. Like, don't get me wrong, but keep in mind, you will be used for the Zog Wars. All right. Good job standing up to the Donnie regime. Peace back from popular demand. Yeah, I mean, listen, we have to kind of confront the goyim, and they get mad. Like I said, I think I had like a 65-70% dislike ratio on that video. I don't care. I said what I said. I believe in it. And like I said in the video, if you guys weren't paying attention, everyone who's like so mad at me, I said I'm not opposed to research into psychedelics whatsoever. Like, I think there can be some viable research into that. But I think there's like normie explosion of we're just going to solve this problem that we have in society. This is like a normie looking at a societal problem, the total NPC mind, and going, well, we could just throw drugs at it. Like that, yeah, that's totally worked before. What about all of the veterans that are like overdosing out on the streets, right? They're out there like doing hard drugs, they're overdosing. Like, what about them? You know? But no, we're gonna give more psychedelics, right? More things to make the mind unstable, really is what that is. And I feel like vast majority of people who are disliking or leaving comments like that, they have no experience with these substances. They have no idea what they're talking about. They've never read any of the medical papers. They don't know about the effectiveness of ibogaine or psilocybin or any of these things. They haven't done the research. I have, okay? And I'm telling you that, yes, while there is some prospect there is like some kind of, you could look to that and go, well, there's something there. The reality is that a lot of people aren't ready for that. And Joe Rogan going out there and putting aside all of the things that actually matter, all right, for psychedelics, that is indicative. And the amount of people that are glazing him and glazing Trump. And you know what? I get it. You put Joe and Donald Trump, you're going to, in the thumbnail and the title, is going to attract a lot of people. But this lack of critical thinking is what's more disturbing to me. You can't see the forest for the trees whatsoever. You want psychedelic drugs so bad. You want escapism is really what it is. And that escapism, that's antithetical to the movement. That's antithetical to this ideology. Listen, we're far right. We're nationalists. We are not about, taking, psychedelics and going to Woodstock or whatever. That's not what this is about over here. If you think you need that, and like for the veterans that, they feel like that's maybe like a good option or whatever, man, I think it's highly, highly risky. Like the amount of, it's so naive to think that you will have a rein in on psychedelics and what they do to you. No, they take you for a ride. Like, and I'll just speak from experience. The amount of naivete that is out there promulgated about this topic, it's certainly just like it's disturbing, to say the least. There's people nuking their minds out there that they think it's okay that we can just put a band-aid solution on the problem of soldiers coming back from war. It's like, well, are you even questioning why they're in this war in the first place? Why there's a war that's driving them mad, that's turning them insane? It's like, think about that for a minute. Like, actually think about that. Like, Joe is in the Oval Office shilling for Trump after criticizing him this whole time. This is a theme, okay? I would say, broadly speaking, across the political spectrum, is say one thing, do the other. And I'm getting really tired of a lot of the norm groids, okay, that get upset when they see that the person that they like said one thing that they liked when that person said the thing, but then the behavior shows something completely different. All right. So, and I think the Hellenists get it. All right. I think a lot of like the Christians out here, maybe like Protestants, they want an easy solution out. I think a lot of the Hellenists out here, you guys get it. You Apollonians, I see you guys. You guys get it. War is just madness. You're into the, once you ventured into the realm of madness, the nightmare, sometimes you come back, everyone comes back changed. It is what it is. You're gaining insight. And that's the thing. There are things to be learned from the experience of war. Everyone knows too much exposure to that drives people mad. It's not rocket science. All right. Some people are more mentally harder than others. Some people break easier. Okay. And that's nothing that they can really control. But this idea that we are going to just give them psychedelics and that'll just take it out of them. That'll, they won't think about all of like the villages that they lit on fire. They won't think about their comrades that, got blown up in IEDs or got sniped or whatever. They won't think about that because, they took some psychedelics. Now they can process it, right? They can process the trauma, right? Of ordering a drone strike on a school or a Tomahawk missile. Like, give me a break. No, end the war. The war is the source of the suffering. Like, I can't stand the people can't see the forest for the trees. It just gets on my nerves an incredible amount. That's just the Goyim, right? The Goyim, they get mad at you because, you don't want psychedelic drugs. And by the way, like I said, it's only Ibogaine. It's not like they're like, you guys are getting all excited about it. Dude, it was nothing. It's like a tree bark. You can't even get it here. Anyways, with Ibogaine, our soldiers are going to see the Bwiti spirits and dead ancestors. Nothing bad can come from that. Absolutely. Hippocratic oath. I like that name. Hippocratic oath. Yeah, that's the thing. When you read, okay, since the week passed, right? Since I did that live stream and everyone mad at me, I've heard people say all sorts of stuff about Ibogaine. Miss me with that stuff, dude. You want to go and you want to, talk to your dead ancestors from 200 years ago. I'm sorry, but that's like black magic. We're Christians. We're Catholic over here. It sounds like you want to interact with like dark spiritual forces. Like that's literally sorcery. If that's how you view psychedelics, that's one, stupid, because that's not how they work. But two, okay. Yeah, like if you think that this is the solution, you're not going to make it. Let me put it very clear. There's a few things tonight we're going to discuss that are clear signs that you're being filtered and you're not going to make it. One is thinking that we can solve the problems of war with psychedelic, with not only just like psychedelics that we know about, like psilocybin or whatever, but some random tree bark from like Ghana. I'm sorry, but it's like West African shamanism, dude. That's literally like, you really want to send people to war in the Middle East and then just get a shaman to wave it away. And keep in mind, big pharma gets their dirty paws all over it. This isn't just going to be like a one and done thing. They're going to have you on Ibogaine a few times. It's going to cause it's going to be like a lot of money. It's going to cost a ton of money. These treatments, think about it. Like, look at what they did with ketamine, right? Look, Herculeanly, if you use recreational drugs in any capacity, you're a turbo Zog slave. I mean, I get the sentiment. I would say, like, you're correct in like the sentiment. We need to ascend, and we don't need any of that stuff. We really only need caffeine and nicotine and like amphetamines, really, in our society. Genuinely starting to believe that, like, the more time goes on, and alcohol, of course, we do need that. A lot of other stuff, I feel like a lot of society can just do without at this point. I think the Goyim are just irresponsible. They're not worthy. I think you should have to demonstrate like high intellect to be able to even come close to these substances whatsoever. Like, you should have to take like advanced linguist test. You should have to take mathematics, music tests. Like, it should be like a bunch of like, it shouldn't be like filter out all of the amateurs essentially, right? I'm not looking to open up an entry into my soul for a demon. Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. If that's the possibility of like what it is, then maybe you shouldn't mess with it. I'll just be real. So if you're like a God-fearing Christian and you think that psychedelics can give you like some kind of religious experience, I'm sorry, but that's Satanism. Like, and let me like be very clear about the people, right? That they worship the psychedelic experience. Let me be absolutely clear. Worshipping intelligence and beauty. These are satanic things, okay? Like, these are, like, we over here, we believe in death, all right? We believe in the fall. We believe in sin. Our world is actually fallen and corrupt, all right? And I think a lot of, like I said, a lot of the Hellenists kind of get this, because chaos, right? Entropy, chaos reigns supreme. So, you know, we do have that in common, actually. It is a bit dour, but it's dark, you know, but the truth comes through whispers in the dark, right? And it's not an easy road every time. Serious amateur non-shamans here. Yeah, I mean, give me a break, dude. When you've had enough experiences with psychedelics, you go, I'm sorry, but like, the regular people do not need to have that level of, you know, schizophrenia put on them. And they're not even like considering like the possibility of bad trips either. It's like just stupid, right? We're going to be more black once we get on Ibogaine, literally. Like that's the thing too, is that like, you're looking for a drug to help you solve this problem. It's just stupid, right? So yeah, like I said, so that's what I think about the backlash I received from talking about Joe Rogan or whatever. I don't care. I double down. People want to be mad at me over that. I don't care. People unsubscribe, be mad in the comment section. I don't care. That's what I think. I think that if you want to use drugs to escape, and especially if you want to use them to escape society's problems, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm not your guy. All right. I don't think that's the solution. All right. I don't. I think in fact, I think that it has the possibility to make worse. I'm not saying it's going to make everything worse. All right. Yeah, but it has the distinct possibility of making things worse. And I hate that about the whole psychedelic crowd, where they think, oh, it's nothing but positivity. It's like, just shut up. All right. You're selling your own cult. You know, you're selling your own faith into something, and I don't like it. All right. You know, so that's what I think about that. And if, like I said, if anyone's got a problem with it, you can find another show. Straight up. What I believe is that you shouldn't abandon your moral stance on war simply because you want psychedelics. All right. That's the baseline. If you don't get that, I'm sorry, but you're not going to make it. The things that have to come, the things that we have to do, you're not ready. All right. You're still looking for escapism. All right. So, and we don't need any of that, all right? We don't need any sort of escapism in this movement. In fact, I don't care if we like that loses subscribers or whatever. Escapism, that's not what we're about. We're about real life over here. We're trying to win, all right? That's what we're about. We're about total victory. And that's not in the playbook. So, like I said, Joe Rogan fans have an issue with that. That's on them. Right? They want to go in this closed loop, throwing their support behind Donald Trump. Well, we're in another war. The troops, you know, they're offing themselves at home. Oh, well, what do? Well, we can go appeal to Trump, and Trump can give us psychedelics. Like, that's really what it is, right? It's super defeated. So no, all of that stuff, super distasteful. I think Joe, you should not listen to Joe whatsoever. Like I was talking about, yeah, whatever. I mispronounced Palumboism, or I mispronounced whatever, you know. Go Google Joe Rogan with his shirt off. That is not a physical specimen that you want to emulate. You're listening to this guy for health? I'm sorry, but he destroyed his gut with steroids and supplements. Google Joe Rogan with his shirt off right now. I swear to God, you will be like, I do not want that gut, that stomach. That looks gross. I'm sorry, but like, that's that. So I saw people mad about that, and some of the the goyim, they will not learn. They will not listen. You know, Joe is not hilarious. Joe is tall and hilarious. I know you're trolling. I won't take the bait. So smart people should try or drugs every once in a while. Normies are on the road. I mean, yeah, I mean, try for the experience in your life, but don't get addicted. And I think that people trying it might get them addicted, right? So that's where I say just don't do the stuff and you won't want it, right? I mean, I don't get what this whole thing of wanting is. You want sex, you want drugs, it's like you want money. It's like, all in all, you really shouldn't want anything. You think about it. If you're feeling you want these things, that's like a problem within you, okay? This is not the time to be getting distracted, okay? Dangling a carrot in front of you, you know, and saying, oh, we're going to give you psychedelic legalization. Just this one incremental step, all right? Drugs are overrated. You're right, Gautama. You're absolutely right, Gautama. Drugs are overrated. They're boring. Look at like life. Look at creation. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Waste your life doing drugs when you could be out doing real life shit. You could be glorious. It's like, why do you even want to be a drug addict? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand it, where it's like you want to like alter your mind into, you know, what, so that you can get over war. Just stop sending people to war. That's it. Stop sending them to stupid wars that we don't need to fight. Just fight the wars that we need to fight. So that's it. So we're going to be moving on. We'll be moving on now. That's what I think. That's what I think. So Joe is Jewish. That's all I need to know. And he said he's a non-denominational Christian or whatever. He's going to like a Peter Thiel funded mega church in Texas, I think. I love coffee, but I can quit anytime, maybe. I mean, listen, bro, caffeine is good for you. That's real. You shouldn't, you know. Yeah, big Red Bull drinker. You guys should all be doing more caffeine. Caffeine is good for you. Helps you stay awake, be productive, and it helps literally grow new brain cells. So yeah, being Thiel's boy is all you need to know. I mean, listen, if you take Joe seriously after he's had the entire Palantir and Darryl like squad on multiple times, like, I'm sorry, but you're just not going to make it. You look to this guy for your information. Even in the MMA world, guys, if you're tapped in the MMA world, Joe is like, he is so old school, dude. He does like, yes, Joe knows what he's talking about when it comes to fighting, but he's also extremely old head too. And he's not necessarily, you know, his opinions on the matter of like fighting and stuff are not as interesting. I'll say that. Let's just leave it at that. I'm not like a MMA channel. I don't talk about fighting like that all the time, but I do think his commentary is lackluster. I just think overall his show's lackluster. Never been a huge fan. Yeah, he is a grifter. Caffeine addict gang. Absolutely. Caffeine is life. Caffeine is base. So yeah. Moving on. We are also going to talk about another silly thing that logically shouldn't make any sense to anyone with a working brain, but here we are. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. So I even had some people in the comments section saying, oh, you and Nick, you guys took all this time off because you guys got exposed for being paid by the SPLC, like that kind of stuff. And people are saying that Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes are being paid by the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center. All right. So who is this coming from? Well, the usual suspects, guys. Laura Loomer, of course. So if you guys don't know Laura Loomer, she is the source for tons and tons of misinformation, spreading false. She is literally an Israeli spy. Let me get that down. But you can see she was community noted here. So we'll just read the little grok summary here. SPLC faces federal charges for alleged fraud and funding hate group informants. On April 21st, 2026, the DOJ charged the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, with 11 counts of wire fraud, bank fraud, and money laundering conspiracy. Sorry, I'm so gassy. Alleging over $3 million in donor funds from 2014 to 2023 went to informants who organized hate events to boost the SPLC donations. SPLC CEO Margaret Huang called the charges politically motivated, defending the payments as standard for exposing extremists. After FBI Director Kash Patel highlighted the case on April 23rd, photos emerged of Nick Fuentes in Rome, and Candace Owens canceled her show for family travel, sparking online theories of flight despite no evidence linking them to the indictment. All right. So, where does this come from? Laura Loomer, of course, right? These accusations are completely like made up. If you trace them back to their source, it is in fact Laura Loomer, all right? And it's her claiming this without any evidence. And she even got community noted. You can see down here, it says the DOJ indicted the SPLC on April 21st, 2026. The indictment does not mention Candace Owens or Nick Fuentes. There is no public evidence linking their travel to Italy with the case. If you guys don't know, Nick is like half Italian or something like that, a quarter Italian, something like that. That's why he's in Italy. He likes Italy. He's also linking up with Keith Woods, actually, who should go check out Keith Woods' book. I got his book right here. Definitely go check out Keith Woods. He's a smart cookie. He's a little dry for some people, but if you like intellectual stuff, he's a real smart cookie. Nick's mom is Italian. There you go. So Nick's in Italy, and they drop a smear piece on him, okay? Nick and Candace coincidentally take vacations around the same time. Not on the exact same week, but around the same time. And then all of a sudden, smear campaigns start flying. All right, well, there's a lot of people, maybe they don't understand what the SPLC is, who Laura Loomer is, okay? As the community notes have pointed out down here, no, Southern Poverty Law Center is not paying Candace Owens or Nick Fuentes. And I want to say, like, back in the day, I used to watch some Candace Owens, and we've been hard on Candace Owens, for sure. We've been super hard on Candace for her sloppy conspiracy theories. But, you know, she is not getting paid by the Southern Poverty Law Center. So, I want to break down to you guys, because there seems to be a lot of people who bought this hook, line, and sinker without thinking about it critically. Once again, it's another theme. People, their critical faculties have been completely vacated, and they are completely vacuous. Okay? So, what is the SPLC? The SPLC, when I woke up this morning and I read the headline, I thought it was the SPCA. I thought it was actually the animal shelter people. And I was like, why are the animal shelter people, why are they paying Nick and Candace? What? That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, that was before I had my coffee. It's the Southern Poverty Law Center, or the SPLC, is a left-wing group founded in the 1960s by Jewish lawyers who were activists of the left in furtherance of civil rights. The SPLC's main thing, you could say, is fighting for the token liberal left policies. So, women's liberation, feminism, gay rights, black rights, Jewish rights, all fighting anti-Semitism, right? This is what the SPLC's bread and butter is, okay? They're sort of like the ADL, except if the ADL focused on more like left-wing, like libtard stuff, they're like the left-wing version of the ADL. These are part of the same group that will come and cancel you if you are a critic of Israel. If you are Jewish critical, these are the people that will clip your show and get you shut down for hate speech. All right. These are the people that work night and day to get you fired from your job. Okay. For anti-Semitism, for being a misogynist, for being a homophobe, for being an Islamophobe, whatever it is. That's what the SPLC does. Now, call me crazy, but does it make any sense for the group that is essentially a wing, a legal arm of international Jewry, of the state of Israel? Does it make any sense for them to be funding Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes? I'll give you a second to think about that for a second, because it doesn't make any sense. These are their adversaries, all right? If somebody is your adversary, you don't fund them, all right? Can we get a cohesive storyline from the people that believe this? And keep in mind, a lot of the people that believe this are Donald Trump fans or Donald Trump supporters. And this came out, and so Laura Loomer says that they're all just being paid by the left. It's all the left. What is the SPLC? Actually, they were founded explicitly, all right, to combat white identity. Why? Because white identity was seen as antithetical to allowing Jewish people to live safely and freely in the West, in liberal democracies. If you have a strong white identity, well, you can't have that. So the ADL attacks that from the right and says, that's wrong. You're a white supremacist if you don't support Israel. You're not a Trump loyal. You're not loyal to the Republican parties. You're a liberal. And the SPLC goes, you are a Nazi. So what is the playbook here that they're bringing out? That we're going to fund the number 1, number 2, number 3, hopefully rising anti-Semites. I prefer the term counter-Semite, all right, for myself. Anti-Semite's a little old world. I prefer counter-Semite myself, all right? Does it make any sense to anybody that they would be funding the most prevalent, relevant, popular Israel-critical, Jewish-critical voices? I'm sorry, but no, it just doesn't make any sense. You have to make such a ridiculous logical leap to come to that conclusion. This is just like the last thing when we were talking about with Joe Rogan and the psychedelic thing. People are not using their critical faculties. People are not thinking straight. How ridiculous is it to think to yourself, yes, they over there in Israel, they are going to fund the most popular anti-Semites, counter-Semites in the West. It doesn't make any sense. And then when you read the indictment, all right, what the SPLC was actually doing, okay, is that they were scamming. They're a bunch of Jewish scammers. Just like Black Lives Matter was a bunch of black scammers, all right? These are the activist class, all right? What they did was got some no-name guys, some random guys to call themselves right-wing extremists, okay? Set up a fake right-wing rally, which I'm sure we've all seen examples of this. If you scroll through your timeline at all, you go, I've never heard about these guys before. And then they show up and they do a big patriot march or whatever, masked up with shields, and they're pounding their shields, and we're like right-wing extremists. And everyone goes, yeah, it seems a little Fed-like. They're not federal agents. They're actors. They're crisis actors. That's what the SPLC has been caught doing, okay? They got caught hiring crisis actors, okay? These people went and faked right-wing rallies to blame it on white people, to drum up donations. It's exactly the same playbook as Black Lives Matter. So I don't see how people that call themselves right-wing and they saw the Summer of Love in 2020, they saw the George Floyd riots, they voted for Trump 2-3 times, and they fall for this. It's like, you stupid goyim. I see this and it's like, Are you kidding me? These are literally Jewish grifters. They're scamming their donors. That's why they're getting indicted. All right? No, there is zero evidence that Candace took money. There is zero evidence that Nick took money, okay? That's another thing. Like, I see this and I go, people's brains, they're not putting two and two together. And it's more disturbing to me that people aren't able to put two and two together. Okay? It's very disturbing to me when I see that. It's completely like you're not using your cognitive faculties whatsoever. If you see this Jewish group, these are the people that come after you and cancel you, get you fired from your job, erased from the internet, and your bank account frozen if you criticize Israel or you criticize Jews. That's a fact. That's what they do. This is their bread and butter. And the SPLC, yes, they're a little bit more diversified, but why are they, right? Why does the ADL focus on Jewish issues and the SPLC focuses on more of a broad liberal left palette? Well, because having a, like I said earlier, having a strong white identity is a problem. You cannot have a strong Jewish ruling class if you have a strong white identity in your country. If you have a strong Christian or Catholic identity, this is why they want to weaken it. This is why the SPLC is an open borders organization. So it's like, tell me, the guy that is like Nick or Candace. I mean, I know Candace is anti-open borders. She's pro-mass deportation. So put her in the same bucket. The people that are all like pro-mass deportations, getting rid of tens and tens of millions of illegal migrants. You believe that we are being funded by one of the biggest single proponents of illegal immigration, of open borders policy, founded strictly on the idea of destroying the white identity of America. That's why do you think they participated in the civil rights era? Their big crowning achievement is the Civil Rights Act. That's what they pride themselves on. Go to the SPLC's website. Yes, they'll be talking about women's rights, gay rights, but they're going to be talking about the work on anti-Semitism and their work when it comes to immigrants and black people, that kind of stuff. So no, they are inherently, what they're doing is antithetical to what we are doing. They are our adversary. It just, like I said, it disturbs me the amount of people that I see that eat this up. No thinking whatsoever. And sure, some of them are bots. I know that. But you see people that you would think have some brain cells about them, and they go, yeah, the Jews are funding the anti-Semites. It's like, today, that's the theme of today, is all these things that just don't make any sense and people believe them anyways. What do you guys got to say? All right, so the Democrats are the best Democrats are at best central right wing. Yeah, but they've catered to the extremist left, and I feel like if they really, if we don't get our way, if we don't follow Nick's plan, then 2028 is already lost, and they'll get in power and we'll be in the gulags. So we've talked about Nick's plan at length before. Yeah, that's what I think we should do. What else? The painter was instrumental in the creation of Israel. I mean, yeah, you could say that, right? I mean, Hitler would be rolling in his grave, right? He would be. Ultimately, he would be like, look at what happened, right? Look at what my actions led to, The leftists were chased out of the Democratic Party. Noam Chomsky, Ralph Nader, Camille Pagilia, James I don't know the last one, Trafficant. Yeah. Well, let's be real. They weren't ready to toe the line, and they weren't ready to stay in line. So yeah. What else we got here? Cope, Nick is a femboy being paid. Oh, chill, bro. So you're saying they are all feds? It's not what I'm saying. No, I'm saying that Nick and I'm saying Candace is probably not a Fed. That's what I'm saying. I'm actually a turn of events. I'm actually defending Candace Owens for a change. I know. It's actually crazy. I actually like Candace. Like, I don't have any beef with Candace. I just thought it was irresponsible of her to be sending out a lot of that conspiracy slop and that nonsense, right? What else we got here? Why do you comment on U.S. politics with terms like we and us if you're not a U.S. citizen? Because I believe in Pax Americana. I believe in like total like U.S. imperialism. I'm an American chauvinist. I literally live right across the border. I have tons of connections to the United States through family, and like lots of other things like friends and just business and stuff like that. So, my mom's literally in America right now. So, when it comes to Canada and the United States, put it like this. The reason I don't, it's more, you should probably more ask, why don't I talk about Canadian politics? And that would probably be probably more of a question that's probably more relevant, is because when it comes to Canadian politics, I'm completely black-pilled on all of that. It's basically it's over when it comes to our domestic politics. There's nothing that we can accomplish within our own system that's going to fix our country. I mean, just last year in 2025, we had 6 million people from India, just India alone, not even counting other countries. 6 million people from India overstayed their visas in Canada in 2025. 6 million people. There's no tracking them. There is really like no attempt to even deport any of them. I mean, the social ramifications of it have been absolutely insane. That's a real number, by the way. So when it comes to Canadian politics, there's no political movement on that whatsoever. The right is dead. Pierre Poilievre is like a total goy. He literally calls himself, this is the guy who's like the head of the Conservative Party in Canada. He calls himself Little Goy on the Prairie, right? This guy is like totally in the tank of Israel. Anytime something bad happens to any Jew around the world, he's tweeting about it. The guy is totally captured by them. He just does like the BAP talking points and like where he's like, well, we're going to like get rid of immigration and this and that. And then, yeah, that's basically it. So when it comes to Canadian politics and on the far right too, we have a French guy, a Quebecer named Maxime Bernier. He runs the People's Party of Canada. He's very far right in like a European way. He's like definitely far right. He would basically be in America considered a groyper. He's Catholic, all that. But he has been completely shut out of Canadian politics. So I tried to vote for him a few years ago, a couple elections ago. I tried to go vote for him, and they were running a candidate in my riding, and I went there and I had my voter registration papers from the mail, and I went to go vote, and they said, well, you're at the wrong polling station. And we're like, okay, well, you guys sent us to the wrong, like the address that they sent us with our voter registration, the polling station that they sent us to was the wrong one. So we had to go across town. And by that point, we're just not going to do it. And then I was talking to my friend who did vote in our riding. And he said he wrote in the People's Party candidate because they weren't on the ballot. Because the conservative government, all right, in charge of Ontario, changed the rules, right? They changed the rules so that you needed more popularity in the polling to actually get on the ballot. So they changed the right wing guys changed the rules to shut out the far right guys. So, and like I said, I like Maxime. Maxime has been like, he's, back when I would consider myself years ago more of a Canadian nationalist, I'm an American like chauvinist, total American nationalist now, because while I like Maxime Bernier a lot, and I believe that he stands with us, right? I mean, Yeah, Anita Poliver is Venezuelan. Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. Pierre Polyev is married to a Venezuelan, right? So he's not pro-white. He didn't marry a white girl, okay? And so Maxime Bernier actually, I mean, you guys would actually kind of like him. He's definitely, like I said, he's like a Groiper, but he's French Canadian. So he's got the accent. He's very far right, and he's got charisma. The problem is that he's been completely shut out of Canadian politics. So there's that. But yeah, I feel like we covered the SPLC thing. Yeah, it got me talking about Canadian politics. All right, we'll be save it for another time. But yeah, I mean, that's basically why I don't cover Canadian politics, though. Like, it's useless. We're not going to get anywhere in our own country. Being in the Canadian system, it's like completely worthless. If we stay in the system, it's just going to be decay forever. We're going to be like Honduras. We're going to be like Bolivia or something like that. Like, we're going to be, completely irrelevant. We're already on the way there. It's like flirting with China stuff. It's all bad news. So you say like, oh, why do you say we? You know, because we are the same people. Like, are Germans and Austrians, like, are those like a super different people? It's like, no, dude, their language is practically identical. It's like, go across the border from America to Canada. It's like, yeah, let's be real. Like, it's an artificial line that's separating us. All right. Like, we as a people, right, especially as white people, we're weaker when we're divided. So us getting together as American Canada, becoming one country, one superpower that can take over. All right. That's actually what we need to work towards. And I don't value Canadian Confederation. It's stupid. It's low tier when it was written. It's low tier now. You know, I do think that the U.S. Constitution is much better. I don't worship the Constitution, like I think a lot of right-wing people do. At the end of the day, I think there's higher things. You know, I bring up Rome a lot, right? Because, you know, just aspiring for the British Empire, it's like the British Empire fell apart. It's nothing anymore. Aspiring for America, yes, America is great, but where does it come from? Well, it comes from Rome. So to me, it's more about awakening the white consciousness, the white identity latent in people. And like, that's our primary mission. So we will like absolutely be looking to unify Canadians and Americans, and I like sovereignty wise, like territorially, like I believe in that. I think we're artificially separated. It's literally a straight line across the map. So like, yeah, I don't like, while I will always be Canadian, you'll never be able to, like, you know, I will never not be Canadian. In my heart of hearts, I am from the Americas, right? I am from like this entire continent, right? And I don't think that Canada as a nation is going to stand. And let's be real, guys, I don't get a lot of pushback when I talk about this like separatism kind of stuff when it comes to Canada, because and I think it's simply because separatism is not a very taboo subject here in Canada because of our history with Quebec and Quebec separatism, and the French having like their own very distinct identity. And of course, them wanting to leave. It's gotten bloody sometimes, right? So this idea of like separating from Canada, joining the States, or becoming our own, you know, our own independent, like, you know, like state or whatever, apart from Ottawa, you know, like it doesn't make sense when you look on a map that Ottawa controls all of Canada. It just doesn't make sense. It's like Moscow. Why does Moscow get to control all of Russia? Well, I mean, it's complicated reasons, right? But it's because it's undeveloped. We're not going to be developed, especially in the north, with Canada, with the Canadian government, right? It's not going to happen. The north, it is extremely important, but we're not going to be able to actually defend it from Russia. We're not going to be able to defend it from China as Canada. It has to be American soil. And that way, that's the only way that they will not touch it. So that's the way I look at it. So what else we got? All right, what do we got here? What do we got here? I live in California. I consider Blasphemer more American than most people I see. See, I like that because I really appreciate the Americans that understand that this is like a this is like a Western civilization thing. We are like literally trying to rebuild Rome over here. So thank you. Yo, fellow React channel, respect my dude. Thank you. Christ is King comes first in everything, or we're gonna lose. Absolutely. I like Candace. Blasphemer 2026. Absolutely. Come on, man. Come on. Like, we don't hate Candace. We like Candace. Come on. We want Candace to come back. Candace is part of our squad. Okay. What else? Do you think Alberta will leave Canada eventually? Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time at a certain point. Like I was saying about Quebec, that taboo's been broken. So, no, I think that Alberta will leave eventually. It's only a matter of time, especially with all the talks with the Trump administration. It's too obvious. Like I was saying about Ottawa controlling Alberta, that's the biggest thing is the equalization payments. Alberta's money, all their tax money gets siphoned off and given in welfare to the rest of the country, which is just horrible. So, polar bears are extremely racist. Yeah, they sure are. I don't want peace with Iran or Lebanon. You don't want peace with Iran or Lebanon? Well, that's kind of messed up. I mean, I don't want war with either of those countries. In fact, we're going to be talking about that. That's going to be our next segment. Hey, Rabbi, what you doing? I'm not a rabbi. I want the US to unite with Australia. They have better beaches than California. Australia is looking really nice. I'm not going to lie. I have a friend I might be tagging along with later on this year to Australia. We're thinking like October, I think. He's going there for like a wedding. But shit, man, I might go to Australia. I've always wanted to go. Australia is beautiful. Yeah, Australia is like if you had Canada, but it was actually warm. It's full of Anglos. It's full of like, beautiful cities. It's like if Canada actually had good weather. So, I definitely am. I'm getting kind of excited to go there. I'm not going to lie. I know it's like months and months away and I got to get my passport and all that kind of stuff done, but it's going to be a lot of fun. What else we got here? The attitude by MAGA that every country wishes they were American has made us look stupid, more stupid. I mean, being American's awesome, dude. Like, what's wrong with being American? Like, all MAGA talking points are stupid now. Their movement has been completely fallen apart at this point. Yeah, it's totally garbage. I don't understand how you stay like a loyal Trump supporter in this day and age. It's just like you're such a low tier person at this point. You have to be coping too hard. Do you think that there will be boots on the ground in Iran? I do. I think it's a matter of time. Like these ceasefire, we're gonna get into these ceasefire negotiations in a minute and stuff. I might as well start that. We're gonna be getting into that. My Canadian brother, how's it going? It's going good. It's going good. So, I've had a good day so far. I'm feeling good. Feeling caffeinated. Feeling good. I'm ready to game after the stream. I'm definitely feeling the games. So, we'll get this article up. Get this New York Times article up. All right. So, all right, so we are back with another Iran update, and we're getting a lot of stagnation, and it's kind of to be expected when you have all these peace talks that are going on, and we all know that fighting is going to resume very shortly. We're going to talk about why the fighting is going to resume very soon. It's not looking good. It's not looking good in the Middle East. It's very tense over there. There's a blockade on the American side of the Strait of Hormuz. There is also the Iranian blockade on their side of the Strait of Hormuz. The American one is being enforced with naval ships and aircraft, and the large naval vessels, I should say. And the Iranian side, the RIGC, it is being reinforced by small attack vessels. These are small attack boats. Think of like a speedboat with a bunch of machine guns and missiles and the capability to lay mines on it. So these things are very difficult to track through very large open swaths of water. So, and the Iranians have been successful in doing coordinated combined armed strikes in the Straits of Hormuz. So we did see earlier this week an attack on a cargo vessel that tried to go through. It was an Indian vessel that tried to go through the Strait of Hormuz and was attacked by IRGC fast boats and drones. So in that case, you could say it's a combined arms operation because we are talking about a naval and air battle. And so they forced a bunch of other ships to turn around. The United States, for their part, have targeted Iranian boats and drones in the Gulf, and has forced Iranian oil tankers to stay in the strait. Essentially, that the U.S. is not letting any Iranian oil tankers through. So here's the article. Here's the latest from the New York Times. It says Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, two of the United States' lead negotiators in peace talks with Iran, will travel to Pakistan on Saturday to hold discussions with Iranian officials, an administration spokeswoman said. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, had arrived in Islamabad, according to Iranian state media, and Iranian officials said he had planned to meet with two U.S. representatives. Steve and Jared will be heading to Pakistan tomorrow to hear the Iranians out, Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, said on Friday afternoon. Vice President J.D. Vance, the lead U.S. negotiator, is on standby and will be willing to dispatch to Pakistan if we feel it's a necessary use of his time, she added. The Iranian foreign minister plans to present a new written response to a U.S. proposal for a peace deal, according to two senior Iranian officials familiar with the trip who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive diplomatic matters. President Trump announced an extension of the ceasefire in the war on Iran earlier this week. While the ceasefire has halted in all the bombardment of Iran and Iran's retaliatory attacks on Israel and Gulf countries, the war has morphed into a costly standoff over the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial oil and gas conduit. Both the United States and Iran are blocking the transit of ships through the waterway in an effort to gain leverage in any peace talks. The news of the scheduled meeting in Pakistan came after Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said that the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ships and ports would continue for as long as it takes to get Iran to agree to a deal. Iranian leaders have made lifting the blockade a condition of resuming peace talks with Washington. Many sticking points remain between the two sides, chief among them, control of the strait and Iran's nuclear program. The last U.S.-Iran negotiation took place in mid-April in Islamabad. Okay. So, what can we glean from this? So, there is seemingly a willingness from the U.S. to appear as if peace negotiations are ongoing. There is a seeming willingness from the Iranians that they want to put out the message that this war is almost over and we've essentially won the war. All right? We own the strait, is what Iran is saying. But as you can see, the two sides have irreconcilable demands of each other. You're going into these negotiations, nothing has fundamentally changed. Iran was earlier in the week, they were saying that no negotiations were going to happen and that this was being made up by the United States, by Donald Trump. So, if the trend is that Donald Trump and his people have been using, the United States and Israel have been using negotiations as a ruse to get Iran's guard down, what do you think Iran is going to do? They're going to say, no, we're not doing peace negotiations. But why is Iran now coming to the table? They are verifiably here. Top Iranian officials are saying this. Well, it's because Iran can't continue this war forever. There is, in fact, a breaking point for their regime. When oil stops being able to flow to China, which has kept their whole economy afloat this entire time, now that it's not going to China, the U.S. is playing the waiting game. It's essentially a siege of they will get no oil to the markets. The U.S. is saying, we will control the Strait of Hormuz. No, you will not make any money from selling oil to China. You won't be charging any tolls. This is what the United States is saying. Iran is saying, we want, when the war is over, we want control of the Strait of Hormuz. We want our proxies in Lebanon and Yemen and Syria to be left alone. Okay. We want a concrete guarantee of peace. Okay. From other countries. They want a concrete guarantee of peace from the United States. All right. Backed up by other countries on the international stage. That the United States would ultimately have to honor this peace treaty if Iran didn't attack them first and break this. So Iran wants a way out, and so does the United States. But who doesn't want this war to end? Well, of course, it's Israel. Israel doesn't want this war to end. And why? Well, because they've spent all this time. They've spent all this time and effort lobbying and getting America into this war. So what does this all actually hinge on, this ceasefire? This all hinges on Lebanon. The brutal Israeli war ostensively against Hezbollah in Lebanon. And it was supposed to be in just southern Lebanon. Well, that's changed. So we're actually seeing Israeli troop movement past the Litani River. We are seeing strikes way beyond the Litani River. It's a war on the Lebanese people. We're going to get into this. This is another article. Clashes between Israel and Hezbollah intensified on Friday, despite a newly extended ceasefire announced just the day before. The fighting casts doubt on the truce as Lebanon and Israel prepare for higher-level peace negotiations. President Trump announced the 3-week extension of the ceasefire on Thursday after hosting Israeli and Lebanese diplomats at the White House. Hezbollah, the Iranian-backed group Israel is targeting, is not part of the U.S.-mediated talks. Hezbollah is not even part of these talks whatsoever, all right? These are the people that are literally waging war on Israel. It is not part of the U.S. mediated talks, but it has signaled it intends to abide by the ceasefire if Israel does the same. Okay, so there's a willingness. There's a willingness to stop the conflict, which the conflict has roughly killed around 2,500 people in Lebanon. Anyway, since this war has started in Lebanon, which has been about a month ago, 2,500 people have died. That's a lot, all right? 2 civilians were also killed in Israel, along with 15 soldiers. Israel's and Hezbollah's strikes have fallen significantly since the original ceasefire was announced last week, although both sides have repeatedly exchanged fire, raising fears that the truce could collapse again into an all-out war. Ceasefire? What ceasefire? While drones are hovering above our heads, what ceasefire while drones are hovering above us? What ceasefire while we are losing our men and our loved ones? Said Fatima al-Masri, 49 years old, who was in the southern Lebanese town of Qana on Friday visiting the grave of her husband, an emergency worker killed in the conflict. We want this war to be over, she said. The latest conflict began last month when Hezbollah fired rockets into Israel in support of Iran, triggering a large-scale Israel bombing campaign and ground invasion of southern Lebanon. Israeli forces are still deployed in a broad section of the country's south, which Israeli officials have said they plan to occupy indefinitely. Okay? That's forever. Let you know they are taking the land forever. They're explicitly saying that. Israel appeared to escalate its operations on Friday, issuing evacuation warnings for southern Lebanese town of Deir Amaz, I can't pronounce that, sorry, before launching airstrikes hours later. The town lies beyond the 6-mile deep forward defense line that Israel said it would control amid the ceasefire. So they're issuing evacuation notices to towns 6 miles deep into Lebanon, past where they said they would go up to, past the Litani River. So they clearly have bigger territorial ambitions than just up to the Litani River, and they are not stopping. The Israeli military said in a statement that Hezbollah had launched rockets from the town on Thursday towards northern Israel. Hezbollah also said it had fired drones at Israeli troops in southern Lebanon on Friday. Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, has pledged to continue demolitions of border towns and villages amid the ceasefire. Hundreds of thousands of Lebanese are displaced from the region. During the latest rounds of talks in Washington on Thursday, Lebanon had called for an end to those demolitions, according to a senior Lebanese official briefed on the negotiations, who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive diplomacy. Hezbollah, for its part, expressed contempt for the state of the ceasefire on Friday, pointing to the continuation of Israeli military operations and reiterating its pledges to respond with force. Mohammed Ra'ad, the leader of Hezbollah's parliamentary bloc, said in a statement that the truce agreement was not a ceasefire at all, and called the Lebanese government to cancel direct negotiations with Israel. The authorities should feel ashamed before their people, said Mr. Ra'ad, raising already shimmering tensions between the Lebanese government and Hezbollah, which it does not control. Israel's strikes earlier this week also killed a journalist and wounded another in southern Lebanon. The ceasefire agreement released last week by the State Department stipulated that Israel will cease offensive military operations in Lebanon, but preserve its right to take all necessary measures in self-defense at any time against planned, imminent, or ongoing attacks. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel accused Hezbollah of moving to sabotage peace efforts between Israel and Lebanon, signaling no intent to cease attacks against the group in a recorded video statement, which was released Friday. We have maintained full freedom of action against any threat, including emergent threats, he said. We attacked yesterday. We attacked today. We are determined to restore security to the residents of the North. Well, so there you have it. Exactly. Lebanon is going to look like Gaza. You got it right, Hippocratic Oath. We see that kind of rhetoric coming from exactly the kind of people they quoted. Israel Katz, the defense minister, has said, Lebanon will look like Gaza. Tehran will look like Gaza. It shows exactly in Netanyahu's statement at the very end right here, where he says, we attacked yesterday, we attacked today, we're determined to restore security to the residents of the North. What does that mean? That means that the ceasefire is nothing. It is falling apart. It is completely false. There is no ceasefire. You heard it themselves in the article right there. Drones are still flying from both sides. If drones are flying on both sides, is that peace? Is that a ceasefire? No. And Israel goes to great lengths to stop all ceasefires from occurring, to make sure that there will be no peace. Why? Because it is part of the negotiations with Iran. Hezbollah says that if the negotiations with Iran go well, then they will abide by the peace terms with Israel. But you see here, the way that this is presented and the mainstream media, the way average people talk about this, okay? they act as if there is peace going, there is a ceasefire in place. They act as if there are good faith peace negotiations going on, when in fact there are none. There is no intent. You're sending Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the guys who failed over and over and over again in Ukraine and with Israel and Gaza, to get peace. These guys couldn't get anything done with the Houthis. These guys are, at best, completely inept at their job. At worst, they're sabotaging these peace talks on behalf of Israel. All right? Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are Jews. All right? They are literally working hand in glove with Benjamin Netanyahu. They are in contact with him every single step of the way. When it comes to peace negotiations with Lebanon, when it comes to peace negotiations with Iran, with the Houthis, they keep him tied in at every single moment. He gets the updates. The very first one to get the updates. So they are conspiring with Benjamin Netanyahu to make sure that this war has all of the demands and conditions. Sorry, I should say these peace negotiations in Islamabad, they will go nowhere. They will be poison pilled. There will be nothing there that Iran can go to its people and say, we got peace. We got the negotiations. We got the Strait of Hormuz, all right, which we didn't have before. And they have to come away with something. America has to come away with something. And so you're seeing that no one's coming away with anything from this deal, all right? Israel is breaking the ceasefire in Lebanon. And let me tell you about the scale of the killing. I have Middle Eastern friends. They're not going to the Middle East anytime soon. No one's going to the Middle East. If you have family or friends there, I mean, you have to be insane to go there, right? But people are saying this is the first war in a long time where if you're actually from the Middle East, you're not going there. You're not visiting friends or family. You're not going there. It's extremely dangerous. I know Lebanese, Syrian people, they're like, people are being killed daily by Israel. That's like the real. And then you guys have to understand too, if they can do it to Lebanon, they can do it to you. Lebanon is a cosmopolitan, metropolitan area. These people when it comes to contact with European civilization, it's been thousands of years. We've been in contact with them longer than we've probably had history. All right. Beirut is a beautiful city. They're bombing Beirut. They're bombing these people. Over a third of Lebanese are Christians. Right? Lebanon pretty much is a Christian nation. Like, make no mistakes about it. Lebanon is also an ally of the United States. Lebanon's also a very close ally of France. Okay? Emmanuel Macron, of course, has made no friends with Benjamin Netanyahu. In fact, him and the prime minister or president of Spain, I think he's president, right? They are enemies of Benjamin Netanyahu, all right? And they have direct interests in Lebanon. Lebanon being a former French colony, the European powers take great offense to the bombing of Lebanon, okay? So, and if you love civilization, if you love Rome, all right, it's like these are like our people, okay? It's like over a third of the country is Christian, all right? Lebanon, before the Muslims really took over and before there was really a large diaspora of Muslim refugees from other parts of the Arab world that, kind of, you could say, ethnically cleansed out the Christian, like, Lebanese people, it was by far away a Christian country. So I want people to understand that what is going on with Israel and Lebanon, it's an attack on a Christian country, all right? And it's being used as a way to get the United States to stay in this war with Iran so you can never leave. I think Donald Trump does want an off-ramp. I do. Like, I think that he recognizes this has been bad for him. This has been bad for the Republicans. This is obviously the Iranians want an off-ramp, obviously, because without any oil revenue, if you're not bringing in the oil revenue like they have been during the war, like, keep in mind, Iranian tankers have been able to go through the Strait of Hormuz, and they were not stopped by the U.S. Navy. In fact, the U.S. Navy has been off the coast, very far away from the Strait of Hormuz, physically speaking, in terms of distance, to stay out of the range of Shahed drones and ballistic missiles. There's rumors they haven't been quite successful in evading those, but Iran is currently being starved of funds. That there was a certain amount of money that was coming in during the war. That money is not coming in anymore. All right. So the Americans are playing this game of siege. They are playing this game of who's going to blink first. All right. America's saying we don't mind choking the global economy. In fact, we'll let it get worse because we can bear it. We are energy self-sufficient over here. So, Lebanon, jewel of the Middle East, is being used as a pawn in negotiations, which I think is horrible. The Lebanese people are great. Like I said, a lot of them are Christian. They used to be majority Christian. This is an attack on a Christian country, all right? And they are a military ally of the United States, all right? The Lebanese military gets pretty much all of its equipment from the United States. A lot of it's like older, last gen kind of stuff. You see that around the world a lot. Like I've been to Jamaica, I don't know, probably like 6 or 7 years ago. And what was interesting about Jamaica is that they're all like their military is all over the island to combat gang violence, gun violence, right? To make the areas for tourists safe, right? And they're all rocking like 1980s US military kit. It's actually quite the trip. You go back in time, really, and it's like everyone's rocking like woodland camo Humvees and M16A2s. It's out of like literally 40, 50 years ago. Anyways, that being aside, I think it's a disgrace what's happening to the people of Lebanon. I think they're being used as a pawn, and of course, what's happening to the Iranian people is a disgrace. That being said, we are the ones being roped into this to fight their war, to fight the war on behalf of Israel. And I think we have to stay focused here because I see a lot of people getting war fatigue, and I see that. It's really hard to pay attention to it all the time, but we're gearing back up for another round. Somebody earlier in the stream was asking, do I think boots on the ground is going to happen? You're like, oh, Blasphemer's more black-pilled than me when it comes to boots on the ground. Well, yeah, that's the reality, is that when both sides are nowhere near negotiating with each other, you are inevitably going back to a conflict. So, what I have in the title of this stream that we're going to talk about. Yeah, okay, we covered the things we were really going to talk about, but that's really what I wanted to hammer home about today. Is like I said, I do know like Lebanese Syrian people. They're my friends, and they're very, very horrified and scared. Like really. This is Lebanon is an American and European ally, and they're being bombed to smithereens. Like literally churches, schools, regular people. It's not just Hezbollah they're targeting. When you know people that are from there, you realize it's like on the ground, real life. People are dying every single day, and we could ignore that over here and be like, well, I don't know much about Lebanon. What even is Lebanon? Like, take the time out of your day to understand this place is beautiful. Like, this is like the jewel of the Middle East. People call it the Paris of the Middle East. All right. Ask your boomer parents. All right. They might have gone to Beirut in its heyday in the 70s before the war in the 80s. So we are inevitably going back to a resumption in conflict with Iran. It's going to be worse the next time around. We will be going in to finish the job. All right. We will not be pussyfooting around anymore. We will be going in, and it will be a total operation to seize the uranium, to decapitate the IRGC, whom some say are completely in control of the country by now. And we'll see. Does Iran collapse before all of then, there's a distinct possibility that Iran completely collapses. That's not out of the question. Do I think that's highly likely to happen? I don't. I don't think it's highly likely. I think it's a distinct possibility. But if I were to put a number on it, I think it's like 20 to like 30% chances of the Iranian government just completely collapsing, and maybe we go into Iran and there's nobody there to fight. But I seriously doubt that's what's going to happen. And maybe that's what they want us to think, is that we're going to starve them, that we're going to essentially starve them of money, of resources, of the petroleum dollar, that they will not be able to wage a ground conflict with us, and that there won't even be anyone really to fight. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think they've stockpiled enough things. I think they can like operate and live off a lot less than we can, and they're in their own country. So good luck with that. I think that people say, oh, well, you're buying it. This is the thing, is a lot of people are buying into there's peace talks going on. As we just went through the 2 articles here, it's cope. It's utter cope. You're putting blinders on. You're thinking that these negotiations are real. These negotiations are fake. All right. These are for the press. All right. Iran has said over and over again that these negotiations are fake. Now they're at the bargaining table because they're actually hurting. But is that actually going to get anywhere? Are the Americans actually willing to negotiate with Iran? It seems like the Americans have a very hard line. The Americans are not budging their line whatsoever. When the line isn't budging, well, a resumption of hostilities is inevitable. So I would just ask people, maybe, just take your head out of the sand. The war is still going on. People are still dying, and it's in Lebanon. All right. And everyone's saying that if it doesn't change in Lebanon, if Israel and Hezbollah don't abide by the ceasefire, then the war in Iran will continue. And what is Donald Trump saying the war will look like? The war will be an energy war. This will be an attack on the Iranian civilian infrastructure. All right. This will be a serious violation of human rights and international law. This will be a step not taken since Vladimir Putin bombed Ukrainian power plants in the dead of winter. So we'll see where this goes. I don't think that Trump actually wants to take it that far, because that would be ultimately a war crime. It'd be extremely unpopular no matter what. And we will just have to see what comes from this. Like I said, I think negotiations are a farce. They are fake. We are going to war again. The war hasn't stopped really, but the war will resume. And my worst fear is that this will be, in fact, a ground invasion. How that happens, I don't know, because it's looking strategically how you pull off a ground invasion looking very, very bad. And, have you guys seen pictures of the coastline of Iran? It's just sheer mountains. It goes from coastline to cliffs, like just mountains straight up into the air. I don't know how you invade this country, the ground force. It's looking pretty bad. So yeah, that's the update. That's what's going on. The negotiations are fake. Peace is not real. We're going back to war. So there's your black pill. That's actually what's going on in the world. That's real life. So I hope people understand that we're not trying to lose all hope here, but you need to understand that the war is not over. That when you hear Benjamin Netanyahu say, we attacked yesterday, we attacked today, we are determined to restore security to the residents of the North. What does that mean? Well, the residents of the North, they need the buffer zone. The buffer zone is going to be extended. Okay, it's going to be extended over and over again until you're all the way to Beirut. All right, all the way until you're at the border with Turkey. Take all the way up to the border with Syria. Basically, have all of Lebanon at that point. So that's your Iran update. It's not looking good. So that's that. Yeah, I've been looks maxing a little bit. You know, I was complaining about all of the wig wag, all the white race traders dressing like black people in the mall today. I will tell you this, guys. I did see some looks maxers, some fellow looks maxers. I saw some little. You just created a million claviculars. I saw little claviculars running around. They're doing it up, bro. They're trying to be, the Ubermensch Aryan. And so, that's what I like to see. Well, I was disappointed in the amount of race traders, of, people dressing like they're black and like blasting drill music on their JBL. I did see some kids that were getting it together, some groups of of white boys that are preparing for a white boy summer. So, yeah. So, where is Nick? Nick is in Rome. We talked about that earlier. Nick's been on vacation. He's, I think, collabing with Keith Woods. Shout out Keith Woods. Got the book back there in the background. I like Keith Woods. Go check out Keith Woods' stuff, guys. He's a big advocate for white identity. He's Irish. Might react to some Keith Woods actually in the future because I really like his content. What else we got here? Yeah, Toronto is basically cooked. Yeah, Toronto's pretty much like completely over at this point. I don't know. I think we're underestimating how long Iran can hold out. They've lived under sanction for 45 years. I feel like we have more to lose than Israel or Iran. Well, Israel has a ton to lose. No doubt about that. That's why they get us to fight their wars for them, right? I mean, if Iran unloaded all of their ballistic missiles and drones on Israel, Israel could actually get wiped out. That's a real problem. So, I hate when I see looks maxers in public. I always get mogged. Yeah, you don't want to get mogged. Don't get mogged, guys. Get on the looks maxing train. I might, I don't know. I hear some people, they're like, oh, I don't want to hear about your looks maxing on this channel. Isn't this channel for reactions and politics? It's I'll post whatever I want. Actually, I'll talk about whatever I want. The looks maxing stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'll keep posting that shit here. It comes dedicated videos of that kind of stuff. I don't know. Some people I could, definitely see a second channel maybe for that. But yeah, I mean, don't get mogged. Yeah, you can't escape clavicular. There's no way. The clavicular is the culture now. If you hate clavicular, there's something wrong with you. All right. Actually, I think if you hate clavicular, you're just stupid. If you're a man and you're just jealous, it's well, just admit that you're jealous. It's that simple, right? Yeah, we are all ascending in 2026. Dude, it's simple. Eat less. Just eat less food. Skip lunch. You'll lose a little bit of weight. Start taking your skincare seriously. Get a haircut. There's I got other things that I'm thinking about doing, getting eye surgery so I don't have to wear glasses anymore. It's kind of a big one. Just because I don't like the reflection and the camera. People can't really see my eyes, my awesome hunter eyes. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, Nick's in Rome. How do you guys not know? Nick is in Rome. That's we are, we was Romans, Hit the like for Blasphemer. Thank you, B Dog. I mean, he's eye candy for women, but for young dudes, you should want to be like Clav. Clav is showing that the looks maxing works. And I'll just tell you guys, anecdotally, it works. All right. Lookism is real. It's the brutal reality. Yeah, once you actually start improving your looks and ascending, I would say you actually get more black pilled, actually. So one thing between chads and incels is, the guys to get all the sex and the guys to get none of the sex. We all understand the nature of women. All right. So anyways, what about contacts? You can have A10 eyes easy. Yeah, I tried contacts back in the day, and just to be honest, I don't like how they feel. They feel very uncomfortable in my eyes. I don't like the whole having to put them in every morning or whatever. And I know there's other contacts that you don't have to do that anymore. But no, I want to get it done like permanently, so I just never have to like wear contacts or have glasses, like ever again. Not that I think glasses are like a total like ender for your looks. Like you can look good with glasses. You can definitely mog as a man with glasses, but I think, yeah, like you just most guys just look better without glasses, and like I could definitely see if you had some like prey eyes that you would want to cover them up with glasses or whatever, but like I have good eyes, and apart from the actual quality of my vision, I mean like aesthetically how my eyes look, they look pretty good. So do your research before getting eye laser very thoroughly. Yeah, no, I've been researching all the different kinds and stuff, and like I said, I might start like a looks maxing channel just so people don't get so annoyed with my constant looks maxing kind of stuff. Yeah, I need laser eye surgery too, but I'm scared. My friend did it actually in Syria, so he's like Syrian, and they actually have they actually do have like good health care actually in Syria. Some people like might not believe it, but he's from there. He's from Damascus, and he knew a guy who knew a guy, so they got a good contact when it comes to that. And it's like his home country or whatever. He feels comfortable doing it. I wouldn't go to Syria and do it, but he got it for the cheap, and he's perfectly fine. I've heard like known tons of people that have gotten eye surgery and they're all completely fine. My kind of eyesight is like kind of the exact case where you would want to get your eyes fixed, and so just all in all, it's like a few things. I'd say mainly just for looks and not having to like have them on your face and clean them all the time. Yeah, having to clean your glasses and just like think about that is just annoying and stupid. I don't want to have to think about that. Yeah, in like other terms of like other things in terms of like looks maxing. I don't know. I don't know. I could like probably use some more fat under my eyes, but I'm not really like too super concerned with that at all, to be honest. Some people obsess about that. We talked about that like last live stream. I think my eyes are good enough that I don't need to do any of that. Yeah, stream health looking good. Yeah. The stream health is looking good. I was just checking on that. I know the 3 people that got LASIK and they are fine. Yeah, I've looked into like all the different kinds. I've known plenty of people that have got it, and everyone says it's fine. There's no real catches to it. So I'm just gonna go for it. I mean, there's lots of places you can get it done. Probably like the best place in the world for like if you're trying to get like any sort of cosmetic thing done for like a good price and have really, really good like quality, good care is probably like Asia, like Southeast Asia, Japan. Like Thailand is probably one of the best places if you're going to get any of these like looks matching like procedures done. They have some of the best quality in the world and the most competitive prices. Thailand has some of the best healthcare in the world, period. Just in terms of like quality. So that's definitely an option, but I think I'll probably go American. I think when I get eye surgery, it's either American or Thai, or European. Yeah, Korea is top tier as well. Yeah, so I'll definitely be getting that done, I think sometime this year. It depends on like where I am, what I'm doing, but I was talking about going to Australia in October, and that would kind of put me in that side of the world where going to like Asia to get that done would be like very easy and stuff. Watch your foot. Just move that keyboard. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm thinking like later on this year I'll probably get that done because I'll probably be in Australia by October, and I've been talking about going to France too. So I don't know. Wherever I get it done, it's going to be really good quality. I'll spend. Don't worry, guys. I'll make sure to spend good money on it. I'm not going to cheap out whatsoever on any eye surgery or anything like that. So I'm not a poor person. All right. So yeah, lots of traveling, I think, coming up. I think, like I said, France, yeah, France, Australia, Asia, the Blasphemer World Tour. I'm been planning it. I'm thinking about it for a while, so we're gonna be doing a lot more around the world, I think. Definitely later on this year. So, you know, around here it's automated. Robots do the eye surgery. Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, then you don't have to worry about a human being messing it up, right? Yeah, you're just rocking the eye patch back in the day. And the eye patch is kind of hard, not gonna lie, but ever since Eye Patch McCain, he's kind of ruined it, right? I gotta say, I love that Dan Crenshaw lost his seat. I mean, dude, I like Eye Patch McCain. I haven't thought about that guy in so long. I'm just glad that he's gone out of politics, man. Like, it's been good not having to hear that guy. So that's that's the update. We talked the Lebanon ceasefire. We talked the SPLC smear campaign. Fuentes update. He comes back on Monday the 27th. So what is that? 2 days from now? Yeah, it's the 25th, 1 a.m. So, yeah, 2 days from now. 2 more sleeps, guys. Remember when you were a kid and you would count, your mom would get you to count things in terms of sleeps? 2 more sleeps, guys. 2 more sleeps and you get to have Fuentes again. Of course, we're never going to stop reacting to Nick. We're always going to keep him on YouTube because that's where he belongs, okay? Never going to stop. But yeah, I think we've covered most of our bases for tonight. We didn't get any super chats, so any big questions to dedicate a lot of energy to or crash out over. We avoided crashing out tonight, right? We actually avoided crashing out, which is good. Don't want to crash out on the viewers every night, you know? Sometimes it's inevitable, you know? Sometimes you get a little tired, you know? But anyways, thanks for your work, bro. Keep it going. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to be streaming. I know I keep saying I'm going to be streaming more, but I am going to be streaming more. More plans for this May, all right? So we will stay in the counter Semite sphere. We will stay keeping the fight going. All you good people out there, take what you hear from me, from Nick, from anybody else that's in our sphere. Take what you hear and gracefully apply it. Gracefully apply it through your life. Listen to the Pope, all right? 07's in the chat. Thank you. Big 07's in the chat. Listen to the Pope, but don't listen to these idiots. Don't let these people fool you, all right? I need a tan. I have been tanning. Guys, I have been tanning. 07's. Yes, I have. I'm pasty. I know. Oh, God, guys. I know I'm Canadian, guys. Like, okay, yesterday I was tanning, all right? No, I was not sunning my balls. I don't do that because I'm not into BAP, all right? I'm not in the BAP sphere, all right? I don't sun my balls and eat liver, all right? I'm not like the Liver King, although I have been going at Joe Rogan enough that, you know, the collab with Liver King. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't collab with that guy. He's a total goy. I don't know. Liver King collab? I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm trying to tan, okay? I'm pasty. I get it, man. Like, my skin is shining, all right? I'm effervescent, all right? If I, will look smacks but avoid sunlight and probably wear sunscreen in Canada. Sunscreen is part of good skincare, bro. Like, you really want, like, maybe, is that a white person thing? Or are white people, are we like the only ones that put on sunscreen when we don't have to? Like, LOL, it's cool. I burn and then 4 days later have a nice tan. I'm trying to have the nice tan and no burn, right? Yeah, get the Trump orange special. I can't. I would have to put myself through like a Grok like image editor. I have to ask Grok to make me orange like Trump. Maybe I'll post that. Face yoga, not plastic surgery. Yeah, I mean, I guess like I don't know, mewing is what you're talking about, like face yoga. You're talking about mewing. No, I don't mew, to be honest. I think mewing is kind of stupid. Um, I mean, I guess jelking works. I mean, you can jelk all you want, but I mean, it's probably I don't know. I think jelking probably works better than mewing, in my opinion. I highly recommend sunlight, to be clear. Yeah, sunlight is great for your skin. Praise the sun. Praise the sun. To all you Redditors out there, praise the sun. You know, you Solaire fans. Facial exercise, not just mewing. Yeah, I feel like you look like such a dork though doing facial exercises. I get it, and there's probably a part of it that does work, but I feel like bone structure probably plays a more important part. I feel like mewing and like facial exercises, if I do those, I'm going to look like an absolutely insane person. Like, you realize if I do facial exercises, bro, you will look so insane. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I will bone smash. In fact, I'm going to get into bone smashing. Now that people want me to mew, I'm going to bone smash because it's just better. Jorking works. I mean, you do you, but jelking is better than jelking is better than jorking. Matcha green tea, no other collagen boosting foods. Research it. Yeah, I don't even know what matcha tastes like, to be honest. Like, that's how unperformative I am. I've never even tasted matcha before. Like, I don't even know. It could taste good. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. If I tasted matcha and it tasted good, I might start drinking it on the regular. But yeah. So why am I'm getting like these emails from like Indeed right now, okay? Indeed is sending me like job postings, all right? From like dude, like, I'm not a wagey. I find this offensive. Stop sending me postings, Indeed. I'm sorry, but wagey stuff just gets on my nerves, God. I've never felt better than on a carnivore based diet, mentally and physically. Same here, WTF. Yeah, I can't give up like any of the foods that I like. Everyone's like, you gotta stop eating like these fast foods and stuff. I'm sorry, but I like chilling too much. Like, I'm thinking about like a burger right now. In fact, like after I get off the stream, I'm thinking about a quarter pounder. Matcha green tea is delicious and the most intense nutrient on the planet. I don't know about the most intense nutrient on the planet. I bet it is delicious. Like, I'm not gonna diss it. Like, if girls are drinking like tons of this stuff, right, it's probably tastes good because girls like, you know, a lot of like tasty drinks. You know, we're men, so we tend to drink like bitter saps. You know, we're like, you know, grog. You know, we drink grog and brew. That's what, as men, we're just kind of made for that. You know. But I don't like this Matt Walsh kind of take where you're like, oh, you know, put a cigarette out in my coffee. I just drink it black. It's Black Rifle coffee for me. And it's like, excuse me, but you know, some people will roast me for my coffee take and that I don't like sugar in my coffee. I'm sorry, but the black coffee people, you are insane. Okay. You not having any cream in your coffee, you are insane. You are being performative. That is the other end of the performative scale right there. The stream went out for a second. Masha for life. Burger and ice cream, but not consume seed oils. Yeah, and I don't even think seed oils are the problem either. To be honest, I am too much of a chiller to like consume things that aren't delicious. Right. So if matcha was like seriously delicious, I might consume it. I'm not going to lie, because I like things that are delicious. And while, yeah, yes, like I will like eat less and be like, well, I got to stop myself from eating too much. I'll just do that instead of like limiting the kinds of foods that I'll consume, because I like variety. All right. Like I'll be depressed if I don't have variety in my food. So I'm going to keep eating Chick-fil-A. Like, that is what it is. Now, will I try to like not get like macaroni and like chocolate milkshake? I think that's kind of impossible. I think if you're being absolutely honest with yourself. It's like, what are you doing? No sound. Like not. Nah, fuck. No sound. Something happened. Sound is fine for you? Oh, okay, just refresh. All right. Well, I was actually probably gonna... all this talk of fast food is getting me hungry. All right, everyone's back and fine. All right. We are back. All right, well, you know what? I was probably gonna hop off and probably get some food going, guys. Talking about food's gotten me hungry. I'm gonna order some McDonald's now, you know? Yeah, Mossad found us once again. They're trying to shut down the stream. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Sneeko. We'll talk about Sneeko probably tomorrow. We'll probably clown on him a little bit. Yeah, I'll try to start the stream a little bit early. I know, going live at 11 p.m. or whatever I started at. Try to be a bit earlier for the normgroids, for the wages. Okay, I'll do it. I'll wake up earlier. And I'll do the stream more consistently. You got me. It's only because I like hanging out with you guys so much, all right? So, we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, we don't get taken out by the Zog, and they don't get us with their seed oils. So, good night for tonight, guys. No shows this week. Yeah, no. I was chilling. I'm a big chiller. What can I say? I was gaming. All right, you guys will get some gaming out of me this week. I'll be live streaming probably most days. We're gonna try to do the Nick reactions when he's back and the live streams every day. We're gonna try that, and I think you guys will like it. So that's the plan. Is you're gonna get a lot more shows going forward, and yeah. Good night, Blasphemer. Good night. Respect, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for showing out and showing up and showing love. Nick does not suck. No, Nick is the GOAT, guys. Listen, Carmine. Nick is the leader. That's dear leader, okay? So, love you guys. You guys are great. Have a good rest of your night. I'm going to get some food into me. Good night. Peace out, Hippocratic Oath.